Now Ayrshire Radio Podcast presents Ayrshire Insights with Elliot Boyce.
It's time for this week's Local Legend Spotlight, and this week we're celebrating someone whose dedication, organisation and sheer hard work has helped keep one of Ayrshire's most important annual traditions thriving. Our local legend this week is Lorraine Murdoch, the woman who has organised and managed the Ayr County Show for 21 years. Lorraine, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Elliot.
So Lorraine, I'm really looking forward to finding out about county shows and cattle classes, but before we do all that, it is the big questions that we ask our guests every single week. So, are you a tomato sauce or brown sauce woman?
Tomato sauce woman.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee all the way.
And what's your go-to Sunday morning roll?
A rolling sausage, but it has to be a lynx, not a square.
Alright, okay, so none of that square sausage nonsense. 2 links in a roll, you're quite happy?
Yep, quite
Brilliant.
happy with that.
Right, we're going to find out about 21 years of the Ayr County Show, the work that people don't see, and why this event matters so much to Ayrshire.
You're listening to Ayrshire Insights with Elliot Boyce.
Now Ayrshire Radio.
If you've just joined us, I'm chatting with today's local legend, Lorraine Murdoch, the organiser of the Ayr County Show. So Lorraine, let's get back to the very beginning. Where did you grow up?
I grew up on a farm in Maybole, Elliot.
So, farm roots, family, farmers, have you always been involved in farming then throughout your life, or have you done anything else?
No, when I left the school, I started working in Clyde Reviewer in Maybole, which was a factory that printed all the labels for the whisky industry at the time. So I worked there, and then I went on and worked in East Kilbride and another printers for quite a few years as well. And then I had my first child. I had my first wee girl, Cara, on, and I was made redundant at that point. So the Ayr County Show kind of came to me. It just nudged my life's nudge. The life nudged me in this direction, Elliot.
That's so very interesting then. So obviously your roots in farming, growing up, going through the printing industry, and then that moment which happens to so many, and probably at the time taking you back to the moment of getting the letter and going through that process. What went through your head?
Well, at the time I was on maternity leave, so it wasn't such a big, huge thing, but it was like, well, I need to do something, I need to work. So, and as I say, I've been involved in farming. I was involved in the Young Farmers when I was younger, and I was Ayr Young Farmers Secretary, and then I went on to be the Ayrshire Secretary of Young Farmers. So farming really is in my roots, and this, as I say, kind of came down the direction to me. And at the time, the show used to always be at the racecourse, and then it did move away for a few years, and it was down at Auchincrew, where you guys are. Yep. But I started back the year that it started back at the racecourse in 2005.
So I would like to talk a bit about young farmers, because I mean I've DJ'd at events with young farmers and they are absolutely wild. They're probably the most mental nights that you get as a young farmer nights. I've done events in barns, we've done boozy bingos in barns. They're crazy. Talk about the young farmers, what the organisation does, because I know that they do a lot of good things as well. Yeah,
it's a great organisation, Elliot. I learned a lot of life skills from the young farmers. It's not just all about partying. Yeah, they do like a good party, so they do. But learned speech making, debates, all these things that set you up in life for what might come ahead of you, kind of thing. And yeah, they're just such a fun organisation, and they look out for each other. I'm now at the other end of the scale. Both my children are now in the Young Farmers, and yeah, it's a great organisation. I can't praise the organisation enough. But yeah, fantastic. They do like a party.
Yeah, no, absolutely. At what point, Lorraine, do you not become a young farmer anymore?
Well, when it was in my time, it was 26. You were no longer a young farmer. I think that might have extended slightly now, but yeah, 26, and then you 26. Become an old farmer.
So, talking about the Ayr County Show, so it kind of came to you, obviously been made redundant. So was the Ayr County Show operating before yourself then, Lorraine?
Yeah, the Ayr County Show was actually founded in 1836.
A few years ago then.
Yeah, so 190 odd years ago. This is the 181st Ayr County Show, about to happen in the 9th of May. And obviously the years that it didn't go ahead was the war, foot and mouth, COVID. But yeah, this is the 181st show in its 190th year. So it's pretty special, so it is.
It's actually, when you say that, it's actually quite crazy when you look at it and go that within our lifetime, this has been a major world event that stopped to operate and being COVID.
Yeah.
Considering it was back from war times and foot and mouth, all the big ones that you'd obviously we've all heard from and learned through school, and then COVID obviously hits and that puts a stop on it. But talking about the Ayr County Show, so you got involved, what year was it again?
2005.
So from that point there then, what was your involvement then and how has it developed?
Well, I'm the only employee of the Ayr County Show. We're a registered charity, and I'm the only employee of Ayr County Show. Everyone else is volunteers, Elliot, which is a huge thing as well. We have a board of management of about 18 people, and then we have about 50 odd committee members that all pull together and help out with the organisation. My role is company secretary / event organiser. So really through the years, I just organise the show. I do pretty much everything. Believe it or not, it's more or less a full-time job, which is a bit crazy for one day, but that's the way it is. And yeah,
absolutely get that with the world of events. It is incredibly difficult and there's a lot of moving parts to pull it together. So you obviously came involved some 21 years ago. Did you ever imagine that 21 years on you'd still be at the heart of it?
No, I didn't. But it's became a bit of a baby to me, that way. I just love it, and I love just making it the way it is, and it's became a baby. My babies are now grown up, so this is now my baby.
Yeah, well, do you know, it's a fantastic event, and being involved with it for 21 years yourself, it must be amazing to see the transition and things changing as well. I mean, it's growing, it's a huge annual event, massive crowds, major competitions, there's national interest, not just here in Ayrshire. Do you think there's a moment when you realise just how important the show was, not just socially, but for the farming community itself?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's very important in the industry. It involves a lot of people. It involves a lot of businesses, a lot of sponsors, a lot of exhibitors, shop window for a lot of exhibitors and trade stands. So yeah, it's very special. So it is.
No, fantastic. And do you know, one of the things, I mean, I'm involved in events and I love talking about it because I think it's great for people to really understand what goes on behind the scenes and hopefully encourage people to support not just the Ayr County Show, but lots of events that happen. We're going to do it just after this.
Tune in live every Sunday from 10 a.m. for Ayrshire Insights with Elliot Boyce.
Only on Now Ayrshire Radio.
Now Ayrshire.
We are still with Lorraine Murdoch, who's organised the Ayr County Show for around 21 years. So Lorraine, let's talk about what goes on behind the scenes. So people turn up on the day, they'll see livestock, rings, stalls, crowds, they'll see everything there that just looks fantastic, but there's a lot of things in the background which will take your full time to plan and get it over the line. So talk us about the point of when you finish the first, let's say we've just finished a show and you go on to next year. So what kind of things do you need to do right at the start, from securing dates and going right through?
Yeah, well, you need to secure, first of all, the venue. We obviously were at the racecourse, which is a great venue for us. It's a greenfield site, so therefore we build on the Greenfield site. So we have a lot of services, etc., that we need to obviously book in advance. So we need an electrician, we need sound, we need a fencer, we need security, we need police, we need toilets. Everything that you see at the event comes in. So therefore, yeah, that's the biggest thing, starting with getting everybody organised and knowing when the event is for next year, working with the council, all these things. That's probably the first thing to do. When you finish one show to start the next show, it's about getting the date in the diary. We're always the second Saturday in May. That is our date. So yeah, that's where it all begins.
It's a massive amount of work, and I mean that just talks about some of the organisations that need to come together. But we also live in a world as well just now, Lorraine, and I can say it from experience that, well, for running events, the costs are colossal. Everything that we deal with and things that you get, from simple things like your portaloos to the track mat, flooring, and anything else, marquees, etc., all is so expensive. How do you try and keep a handle on the expense of it but still keep it sustainable to keep operating?
Well, we actually Ayr County Show used to be a 2-day show, Elliot, but back in 2014 we had to make a decision to go to a 1-day show. There was a lot of blood, sweat and tears over this, but when it was 2 days, we obviously needed all these things, toilets, etc., for 2 days, and it became that Ayr Show would probably not have many years left if we didn't do something to try and alleviate that. So in 2014 we went to a 1-day show, which has been an absolute great success, because everything now happens on the 1 day. So people come to the show at 9 o'clock in the morning and there's things going the full day right to 5 o'clock, Elliot. So yeah, we try hard. We host 3 fundraisers throughout the year, which helps us with the costs, to try and keep the costs for the actual show day to the general public as low as possible. So we have a couple of ladies' nights and we have a gents' night throughout the year, and these are the things that help us to try and we fundraise out with the Ayr County Show to try and help us keep things as cost-based as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's so important. We're in a world just now where the cost of living is incredibly difficult. I mean, the farming community just now are massively getting impacted, along with everybody else, with the fuel prices, which we're seeing. All of those costs all have an impact on people making decisions and what they're going to go to, especially trying to go to the likes of you're attracting an audience from across the nation. People are going to have transport costs, hotels, all the other things associated with coming to an event. So to try and keep the price of the ticket down and other things that go on with it is so important, and I'm sure the fundraising will be a real help with that. So going through your 21 years, have you got a real big win that you go, do you know what? Wow, I'm really proud of this moment.
To be honest, Elliot, I'm proud of every show that I do. When that show shuts on the Saturday night, I'm immensely proud that it's went ahead, it's happened, it's taken a year to organise, and it's all over in 1 day. But probably my biggest win was taking it from 2 days, or helping to take it from 2 days to a 1 day show, because that was a huge thing, and it was a huge thing. Nobody likes change, Elliot, no. And it was a big decision, but it has paid off, and for the people attending, it's now better. And yeah, it's a busy day for us, and it's a busy day for all our volunteers, but it's 1 day, and it's great.
There's another 364 days of the year you can chill out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, looking at it, it's a fantastic event. What kind of numbers does it attract?
It attracts about depending on the weather. It's obviously an outdoor event, Elliot, so you know all about that. But the last couple of years we've had absolutely fantastic weather, and it's just been round about the 9,500 to 10,000 footfall. So it has. So it is. It's a great event for Ayr, for the town and the surrounding communities. So it is.
Absolutely. And I mean, you mentioned that just shy of, let's say, 10,000 people coming to an event. You've got all the associated, like, a trade in the economy as well. Local hotels, bars, restaurants, people travelling to the area, getting in and out of local shops. Events are so important for the local area because it doesn't just impact that event, it's all the surrounding areas, services and everything else that comes with it. And bringing people to Ayrshire that maybe wouldn't come to Ayrshire if it wasn't for that. And it is a beautiful place and hopefully can encourage more business and things within Ayrshire as well. Now, over the past 21 years when you've been operating, I'm sure you've had some really hard days and challenges. Apart from obviously changing it from a 2-day to 1 day, which clearly was a big challenge for you, what's been your kind of hardest year or other big challenges that you've faced?
Yeah, weather's a huge challenge, Elliot. If it's wet or it's been wet, I mean, the weather beforehand's sometimes more important than the weather on the day. But weather's a huge impact. I do remember one show, and it was when it was still a 2-day show, and we actually, when I went round the corner with the electrician, the water was up over the top of my wellies, so it was, and we had to make the call. We had to turn the electric off for safety reasons, etc. And yeah, it's these things that do impact it. So that probably weather is my biggest challenge, especially on the day. Although at the racecourse we do have roads, which is great, but we are predominantly on grass. So yeah,
It's also the challenge as well, Lorraine. I mean, the weather on the day can have an impact, but as I know well, your site build, if it's impacted by weather and you're trying to get telehandlers onto grass and try not to turn up the grass, there's a lot of challenges in it. And the problem we've got is you can't plan for it.
No, you can't, Elliot. And as you well know, it's so. Yeah, I hope it starts to dry up. Next week looks as if it's to be a bit better. So we're now 3 weeks tomorrow to the show, and I'm now the new weather woman. So I am. So.
Listen, of course, and we've got, hopefully the weather does stay dry, but we are in Scotland. It is very difficult to try and guess what it's going to be. Now, farming has changed dramatically over the past 21 years. How would you say that the Ayr County Show has evolved to reflect modern farming while still protecting tradition?
Just the exhibitors. They don't have the same amount of staff on farm now, so it's harder for them maybe to get away and spend time, to bring cattle and sheep, etc. out. It takes a lot of time beforehand. So that's probably quite a big thing that, the farming industry don't have the same amount of staff to help them out. So therefore, it puts a lot in them, Elliot, so it does. So
it's also trying to keep going. I mean, the farming's a 365-day business. It doesn't stop. Doesn't stop for anything. And the livestock will need fed. The things will need done in the background on the farms. So do you actually bring livestock to the event as well?
Yeah, we do. So we've got horses, we've got show jumping, we've got sheep, we've got Clydesdale horses, and we've got beef and dairy cattle. We normally have about 200 cattle. We have about 400 sheep and maybe about 300 horses come to the event.
Wow.
It's and everybody loves to come and see. They're obviously showing in the rings. There's various rings going ahead and people can watch them being shown. And then at the end of the day, we have a champion of champions, which is your overall champions from your Clydesdale sheep, dairy cow and your beef cow, and they then go into the main ring. It's a bit like Strictly Come Dancing. They have a scoring facility. The judges score them. 1 to 10, and the winner actually gets a £1,250 prize. So it's a big prize for that particular animal to win the overall champion of champions of the show.
That's that's absolutely amazing. And the thing as well, I mean, there's people that probably won't have seen it if they're not in the farming community. Do you attract people that aren't in the farming community as well, that have just got an interest in the event and animals?
Yeah, definitely. It's very important to attract the general public and people that maybe don't live in farms. We do a lot of things as well. I mean, a lot of families love to come and just see all the animals, but we have a children's marquee, we have an education marquee, which is obviously we have lots of things in it as well, and everything. Once they're really in the show, Elliot, all these things are free of charge. We try to make face paintings free of charge. All these things with lots of main ring entertainment. So we've got the BMX show coming this year. We've got Clan McLeish Highland Stilt Walkers. We've got Bubble Magic. So we do have lots of other things to attract the general public into the show, not just to see the animals. A lot of other sub things on as well. Yeah, and it's important to educate. It's important to educate people that where the food comes from and things like that as well, Elliot. So. Yeah.
No, it's fantastic, Lorraine, and really looking forward to seeing how this year goes. Hopefully the weather stays dry for you. So as we continue, we would like to find out about your links to the community and the importance of it being in Ayrshire. I mean, Ayr County Show has been there for, you mentioned, it's been 190 years from the first show, and why you're still remaining here in Ayrshire.
Now streaming
Ayrshire Insights, hosted by Elliot Boyce.
This is Now Ayrshire Radio.
We are still with today's local legend, Lorraine Murdoch. And before we continue, it's time for Bargain of the Week. So our listeners were in touch earlier on. They let us know their bargain to the week. So Lorraine, what is your Bargain of the Week this week?
My bargain of the week this week would probably be a large glass of Pinot Grigio, Elliot. I'm a bit of a wine girl, so if I can get it below a tenner, I'm doing well, so I am. So
There's nothing wrong with that, Lorraine. Fantastic. A nice bottle of Pinot Grigio is your bargain of the week. Right, okay, back to you and back to your links to the community. So obviously the Ayr County Show plays a huge role for farmers, smallholders, rural businesses, families across Ayrshire, but also the wider community in Ayrshire, as you'd mentioned, with the economic impact of having such a big event in Ayr. Why do you think events like the Ayr County Show matter so much to the farming community?
For me, that local feeling's about belonging and shared identity, Elliot. It's knowing the people, the places and the stories that shape where we live. Ayrshire isn't just somewhere on a map. It's a community where people look out for each other, support local talent and take pride in what we have. Having grown up and spent time locally, we start to appreciate how important these connections are, whether it's local events, small businesses, community initiatives. They all contribute to a sense of togetherness. That's why supporting local causes and platforms like yourself, Elliot, Now Ayrshire Radio, matter. They give people a voice, they highlight what's happening in the area, and they bring the community closer together. Personally, I try to contribute by being engaged, supporting local initiatives where I can, and I recognise the value of community-driven projects. Every small action, showing up, sharing, or even getting involved can make a difference. At the end of the day, strong communities don't just happen, they build by people who care, and that's something I think Ayrshire does really well.
Fantastic. And focusing on the actual county show, what do you think that means to the farming community?
It's a huge thing for them. Farming can be quite a lonely thing, Elliot. So getting out and meeting their friends and having a day at the show can really help that. A lot of farmers are obviously lone workers. So in their they're out in the fields at the moment, they're lambing, the weather's been terrible, they've got lots of disasters in front of them. So getting out and speaking to people is probably one of the biggest things in the farming industry, and having a nice chat and a good time. And yeah, that's
Do you think it also helps because it's a platform for people to maybe talk about things they might experience that others, it might not be from Ayrshire, it could be from anywhere in the UK or further afield that maybe are having the same issue, and they go, it's a good peer-to-peer.
Yeah, it lets them see that they're not alone, that, everybody is, everybody's in the same, have the same crises. And yeah, it's as I say, it is a huge thing that, being able to get them out and speak to people. That's one of the biggest things for me that would, So.
Definitely. So, and see, for younger people as well, how important is the show in encouraging the next generation to stay involved in agriculture and rural life? Because if we don't have farmers, the full system stops. It's such an important trade. It's such an important part to happen, so that everything else around about works. I mean, food being a massive source, to name one.
Yeah, we do. We need to bring the next generation in, definitely. And that's, we obviously, the young farmers do quite a bit for us at the show as well, Elliot. So, yeah, it's all about bringing them, but it's starting them young. We have young handlers classes and things at the show that, encourage the youngsters to come along and handle their animals. And, it's all about bringing the younger generation forward.
Brilliant, Lorraine. Right, up next, we're going to play a game of 5 fast ones, and we're going to find out what's next for you and for Ayr County Show. We're going to do it just after this.
This is the Ayrshire Insights Podcast with Elliot Boyce.
Now Ayrshire.
If you've just joined us, I'm chatting with today's local legend, Lorraine Murdoch, the organiser of the Ayr County Show, and it's time for 5 fast ones. So these are quick fire questions, Lorraine. Don't think about it, just shout out the first answer that comes to your head. Are you ready to play 5 fast ones?
Yep, let's
do it. Favourite takeaway?
Indian.
Song that always lifts your mood?
Don't Stop Me Now by Queen.
Best thing about Ayrshire?
The people.
Weirdest moment at the show?
One day when it was wet, when I went outside, I saw the kids had got an animal trough and they were actually using it as a boat because there was so much water and the kids were in it and they were kidding on, they were in a boat, Elliot.
Oh, that's definitely up there with your weird ones. And who plays you in the movie of your life?
Olivia Colman.
There we go. Not had that one before. Brilliant. Right, time to find out what's next for you. So what is next for you and the Ayr County Show?
I think for me, what's next for Ayr County Show is really about building on what's already there, keeping the tradition, but making it more relevant for today, Elliot. It's such an important part of the community. So it's all about growing in the way that brings more people in, especially the younger generation, while still celebrating everything that makes Ayrshire unique, our agriculture, our local talent and our businesses. It's all about creating a legacy. I think it's about leaving things better than you found them, supporting local, creating opportunities and helping build something that lasts. Because at the end of the day, community is what Ayrshire makes Ayrshire special.
Absolutely, Lorraine. And for you, there's a lot of people that are involved with the show, with the show and putting it on every single year. I know that you won't be able to shout them all out individually, but have you got any big shout outs and thank yous before we wrap up today?
Yeah, I just want to thank, obviously, the team, that, our board of management, our committee. As I said before, Elliot, they're all volunteers to the association, so they give up their time to come and help with the show. Our sponsors are a huge part of the show, our trade stand exhibitors, our livestock and horse exhibitors, our services. Really, everyone that's involved in the show is important, Elliot, because if one of those persons wasn't there, the show wouldn't go ahead. So yeah, I just want to thank everybody, and also for the general public and the people that attend on the day, because if it wasn't for them coming to the show wouldn't be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you need all the people that come to keep the show alive. And it does also have testament to all the volunteers and the hard work in the background, because if the show is not good and people don't like it, they won't come back. So being able to retain the numbers, 10,000 every single year, is a massive testament to you and to the full team that put on the Ayr County Show every single year. Lorraine Murdoch from the Ayr County Show, thank you for joining us in this week's Local Legend Spotlight.
Thanks, Elliot.
This is the Ayrshire Insights podcast.
Never miss an episode. Hit subscribe now.